So good morning, children. Hope you all are fine. The previous day, what we have done is, we have dealt with the fourth part of the lesson, the Tiger King. I hope you remember what we have discussed the other day. So in the fourth part, what we have seen is the Tiger King. He managed to kill 70 tigers that he had come across in the forest of the Pratibandhapuram. So after killing 70 tigers, what happened was that the tiger population there in Pratibandhapuram got extinct. So it was very difficult for him to come across another tiger from the Pratibandhapuram forest. And for that, what he had done, isn't it? He called the Diwan Sahib, and after having a discussion with him, he decided to get married, isn't it? That was the decision that he had taken. And there also he had followed a criteria. What was the criteria? Do you remember the criteria? The criteria was that the Diwan is supposed to take the statistics of the tiger population of the nearby states. And after that, he is supposed to check if there is any princess in that particular state with whom he can get married. And the Diwan did his work. They managed to come across such a princess, and the Tiger King got married. And each time he visited his father-in-law, what happened was that he killed 5 to 6 tigers on each visit. So thereby, he managed to kill 99 tigers altogether. 70 tigers from the forest of Pratibandhapuram and 29 tigers from the forest of the state in which his father-in-law reigns. Now one more tiger is left. It is where we have stopped the other day. So can we move on with the fifth part of the lesson? The fifth part of the lesson, it completely deals with the Tiger King's search for the 100th tiger. Remember, it's a very crucial number, isn't it? The 100th tiger. The astrologers, the chief astrologer predicted that the Tiger King will be killed by the 100th tiger, isn't it? Or else he has to be really careful while dealing with the 100th tiger. So what happened is that the Tiger King went in search of the 100th tiger. It is very difficult for him to come across the 100th tiger, and he even asked his official. He actually was so angry that he shouted at the Diwan, and even the different deeds that he had done to the villagers who actually told him that there is a tiger in their village. All these are the things that you're going to listen to in the fifth part of the lesson, or else the last part of the lesson. So whether he managed to kill the tiger or not, or has the tiger killed the king, let us see what happens. So can we start with the fifth part of the lesson? So the Maharaja's anxiety reached a fever pitch when there remained just one tiger to achieve his tally of 100. So the most crucial tiger, it is the 100th tiger, isn't it? So day or night, whatever it is, or else his dreams, everything was occupied with only one thought, that is the 100th tiger. Somehow or the other, he should kill the 100th tiger. The only thought that disturbed him was this 100th tiger. He couldn't concentrate on any other thing than killing the 100th tiger. And it became impossible to locate tigers anywhere, because the tiger population got extinct too. And tiger, if he could kill just that one single beast, the Maharaja would have no fears left. There is no need to take care of anything else. Why? Because the astrologer told that he should be really careful with the 100th tiger, isn't it? So if that tiger is also killed, then naturally nothing is there to disturb him. So if he could kill the tiger, he could actually give up tiger hunting altogether. Then, that is the first paragraph there in the fourth part. Moving on to the next part of the next paragraph of the chapter. But he had to be extremely careful with the last tiger, isn't it? Why? Because the astrologer, have a look at the question. What had the late astrologer said? So what had the late astrologer, the word late itself indicates that the astrologer who had predicted the death of the tiger king, he himself passed away before his prediction came true. So even after killing 99 tigers, Maharaja should beware of the 100. That was the prediction. We very well remember the prediction, isn't it? That was the first thing that we have learned in the first part of the lesson. So remember to be careful with the 100 tiger. It is actually true enough too, isn't it? Because tiger, you all know, it's a savage creature. We have to be really careful with it. It is not that easy to defeat a tiger as such, that too by a human being. And one had to be wary of it. Wary means really careful about the tiger, isn't it, while dealing with the tiger. And a sarcastic comment is being brought out by the narrator here. See, have a look at the sarcasm being brought. Where was that 100 tiger to be found? It seemed easier to find tiger's milk than a live tiger. So easy to get up. Very easy to get tiger's milk, but not the tiger as such. That was the difficulty that the tiger king was coming across, and such a sarcastic comment is being brought out by the narrator too. And remember, this point you have to add while you write the answer for the sarcasm or else the satirical elements that are present in this lesson. Please keep that thing in your mind while you write that particular answer. This point should surely be mentioned. It seemed easier to find tiger's milk than a live tiger. Now moving on to the next paragraph. Thus a Maharaja was sunk in gloom. So it is for the first time that we are seeing that the tiger king turns out to be sad. In no other part of the lesson we have seen such a situation for the tiger king, isn't it? Even when he heard that the tiger is going to kill him, he actually shouted at the astronomer. He actually raised a very intelligent very intelligent point, that is, let the tigers beware. At that time also he was not sad, or else at that time he reacted in that manner. But see, have a look at the reaction over here. Right now he turned out to be sad. Why? Because it is so difficult to come across the 100th tiger. In his own state, so what happened was that while he was sad, very soon a happy news dispelled that gloom. Dispelled means removed or destroyed that gloom as such. What was the happy news? Let us see what that happy news is. The happy news is that in his own state, sheep began to disappear frequently from a hillside village. So what does it indicate? Sheep getting disappeared, that too frequently. It indicates the presence of a tiger, isn't it? Don't you feel so? So he could see that in his own state, in a hillside village, the sheep started disappearing, which indicated the presence of a tiger. But before the villagers made it sure, what they did, let us see. It was first ascertained that this was not the work of Khadar Main Sahib or Veerasamy Naikar, both famed for their ability to swallow sheep whole. So first, the villagers ascertained means made sure. They made it sure that this work is not done by Khadar Main Sahib or else Veerasamy Naikar, because these people are really famous for swallowing sheep. So first they made it confirmed whether these people are responsible for the disappearance of the sheep. But they made it confirmed it was not the work of these people. So if it is not the work of these people, then naturally a tiger was at work. It is very well clear, or else it is evident that a tiger's presence is there in that hillside village. And you know, in such a situation in which the Maharaja is really sad because he couldn't come across the 100th tiger at that time, if a tiger's presence is seen, naturally the villagers will be happy enough to inform the matter to the king, isn't it? So the villagers, what they did was they ran to inform the Maharaja the same. The Maharaja announced a 3-year exemption from all taxes for that village and set out on the hunt at once. So what happened was that the Maharaja was so happy when he was informed that there was a presence of a tiger there in the hillside village, and the gift that he had given back to the villagers is a 3-year exemption from all the taxes for that villagers. A 3-year exemption. That is what, that was the gift given by the king to the villagers. So in that thought only these people also have gone to. Moving on to the next paragraph. So the tiger was not easily found. So don't think that it was so easy to come across a tiger. No, it was very difficult. It seemed as if it had wantonly hid itself in order to flout the Maharaja's will. Wantonly here means intentionally. It seems as if the tiger had intentionally hid because it really wanted to flout. Flout means disobey the Maharaja's will. The Maharaja was equally determined. He refused to leave the forest until the tiger was found. So we have already seen this character trait of the tiger king, isn't it? That is, he is so determined a person that he won't ever move away from his decision of killing the tiger. So he refused to leave the forest until until he come across this tiger. And as days moves on, what happened? The Maharaja turned furious. Why? Because there are so many minions of him over there in the forest. With the help of all these people, he couldn't locate the tiger as such, and he turned out to be really furious. And what happened? The after effect is that many officers lost their jobs. So many of them lost their job too. And one day when his rage was at its height, the Maharaja called the Diwan and ordered him to double the land tax forthwith. And see the reaction, the result of his fury. What he did was, he doubled the land tax that the villagers were supposed to pay. Earlier, remember, when the villagers conveyed this happy news, he released them from paying tax for 3 years. And right now, the punishment that he has given is this thing: he doubled the land tax immediately. Forthwith means at once. I hope the things mentioned in the 14th page is clear for you. We'll check it once again. What we have seen is, it is very difficult for the tiger king to come across the 100th tiger. Why? Because the tiger population there in the father-in-law's kingdom too got extinct. And then it became impossible for the tiger king to locate tigers anywhere. And remember, it is the tiger king should really be very careful while dealing with the 100th tiger. After all, the tiger is a savage creature, and so we have to be really careful. And the sarcastic comment of the narrator should also be noted. The comment is this: it is very easy to get tiger's milk, but very difficult to come across a tiger. At that time only a news from the villager, from a hillside village came. That is, the sheep started disappearing. So what happened is that the villagers first made it sure whether it is the work of Khada Main Sahib or Veerasamy Naikar, because these people were famous for swallowing sheep. Anyway, it's not their work, so that indicates the presence of a tiger there. And they informed the king this thing. And Maharaja, as a gift, what he did was, he released these people he gave a 3-year exemption from paying taxes. The villagers need not pay tax for 3 years. That was the gift given by the tiger king. And you could see that the tiger king was so busy in search of this tiger. He was spent the remaining time in that, but he couldn't come across. And many officers who were assigned the job to locate the tiger, they lost their job because they couldn't locate the tiger anywhere. And the tiger king turned furious, and as a result, what happened, that point also should be kept in your mind. He ordered to double the land tax, that too immediately. So that was what we have learned in the 14th page, the beginning of the 5th part of the lesson. Now moving on with the next part of the lesson. The people will become discontented, then our state too will fall a prey to the Indian National Congress. So in the beginning of the chapter itself, I mentioned, you have to keep in mind the time in which the author Kalki has written this lesson. I hope you remember, 1899 to 1954. That was the time span of this man, and this lesson deals with many of the things that happened during that time span too. So there, at that time, I hope you remember, the freedom fighters, they were really fighting to attain freedom. They were struggling, the Indians, they were really struggling, and you know the different ways in which they were trying to gain freedom. And the party, that to Indian National Congress, how the members of the International Congress, what are the different steps that they have taken, you all know, isn't it? So the Diwan is actually trying to inform the king. So you have to be really careful while dealing with this situation. If you double the tax like this, then naturally the people will be discontented, they'll be really unhappy, and as a result maybe you will lose your throne too. Why? Because they may join this movement, and the International Congress fellows, they may fight against you in the sense they may turn against you, and at that time maybe you lose your throne too. So you have to be really careful. You are not supposed to double the tax like this. Like that came the advice from the Diwan Sahib. And see, have a look at the reaction of the Tiger King. The Tiger King is never bothered of any of these things, it seems. In that case, you may resign from your post, said the king. So a Diwan's duty is to advise the king regarding the things going on in the kingdom, isn't it? So such an advice only he had given, but the king was never bothered at all. So that shows his selfish motive, isn't it? So once again, another character trait of this Tiger King coming over here. He turns out to be really selfish, that he is never bothered about losing his kingdom too here. Okay, moving on to the next point. The Diwan went home convinced that if the Maharaja did not find the tiger soon, the results would be catastrophic. See, catastrophic. See, if the Maharaja is not going to come across the 100th tiger, then naturally everyone is going to be affected. The king is really furious now, and any sorts of commands can come from him. So it is better they locate 100th tiger immediately for him. And as he reached home, what happened? Something was waiting for him there at home. It seems he turned out to be really happy when he reached his home. So what is the thing that happened when he reached home? Let us see. He felt life returning to him only when he saw the tiger, which had been brought from People's Park in Madras and kept hidden in his house. So that was the happy thing that he had come across while he reached home. He had already had a tiger which was kept hidden in his home. And where had he brought the tiger from? He had brought the tiger from the People's Park in Madras. Just for a curiosity, or else maybe just for fun, he had actually brought a tiger and kept it hidden in his home. Anyway, it's not for this purpose, for bringing this tiger in front of the Tiger King. He just brought it for fun, and he had just hidden it in his home too. So he was so happy when he just saw the tiger once again. He thought it is better to bring this tiger in the presence of the Tiger King, so that he can kill the 100th tiger and his target will be over, isn't it? So what happened? He felt life returning to him when he saw the tiger which had been brought from the People's Park in Madras. So what he did after coming across this tiger is mentioned in the next paragraph. At midnight, when the town slept in peace, the Diwan and his aged wife dragged the tiger to the car and shoved it into the seat. So what happened is that at midnight, when everyone slept, they made it sure that everyone nearby have slept, and after that the Diwan, with the help of his aged wife, dragged the tiger. It seems as if the tiger is a bit tamed, or else how come this Diwan, the old Diwan and his wife, can manage to drag the tiger, isn't it? It seems as if it is a tamed tiger. So what he did was he dragged the tiger to the car and shoved it into the seat. Here, shout means he managed to push the tiger. The tiger was not ready to get into the car, so he pushed the tiger inside the car, into the seat. He pushed the tiger into the seat. Then the Diwan himself drove the car straight to the forest where the Maharaja was hunting. So now he is arranging a situation in which the Tiger King will surely come across his tiger. For that he is just bringing the tiger. He drove the car himself and he has brought the tiger into the forest. And when they reached the forest, the tiger launched its satyagraha and refused to get out of the car. And see, once again a sarcastic comment being brought out over here. It seems when the Diwan brought the tiger into the forest, what happened was that the tiger was not ready to get out of the car. And how was it expressed by the narrator? The narrator says that the tiger launched its satyagraha and refused to get out of the car. You know, a tiger won't go for satyagraha. It might not be knowing what satyagraha is, isn't it? So he is just trying to bring in a bit of humor over here. The tiger launched its satyagraha and refused to get out of the car. The Diwan was thoroughly exhausted. He turned really tired in his efforts to haul the beast out of the car. Haul again here means to drag the tiger out of the car and push it to the ground. It was very difficult for the Diwan at first to push the tiger into the car, and right now when he wanted the tiger to take out, at that time also he got thoroughly exhausted because the tiger was not ready to move out of the car. So that the next paragraph, moving on to the next paragraph. So this thing happened in the midnight, isn't it? So usually it is during the daytime that these people go for hunting. So the next day, the following day, what happened is being mentioned in the next paragraph. The same old tiger wandered into the Maharaja's presence and stood as if in humble supplication. In humble supplication means with a polite request. It seems as if with a polite request, the tiger came in front of the Tiger King. So supplication, remember, a polite request it is. So in a humble supplication, and what is the polite request that is being brought out by the tiger? You know the tigers want talk, isn't it? So again the narrator is trying to express the way in which the tiger came in front of the Tiger King. So in the way in which the tiger stood before the Tiger King, the narrator is telling that it stood as if it is requesting something to the Tiger King. And what is the request brought out? Master, what do you command of me? So in that manner, the tiger was standing in front of the Tiger King. So naturally, you know what will be the reaction of the Tiger King. It's after all the 100th tiger, and that too standing in front of him as if with a request, isn't it? So he was so happy. It was with boundless joy that the Maharaja took careful aim at the beast. The tiger fell in a crumpled heap. So what happened? Maharaja was so happy and he shot the tiger, and the tiger fell down. So the 100th tiger is also killed, isn't it? So it means that the astrologer has gone wrong with his prediction, isn't it? Don't you feel so? The astrologer mainly mentioned this factor that you may kill 99 tigers, but Maharaja, you have to be really careful while dealing with the 100th tiger. But here, see, the Tiger King has reversed. We feel as if the Tiger King has reversed the fate of the fate that was told by, or else the prediction that was told by the astrologer. Let's see what happened after that. I have killed the 100th tiger. My woe has been fulfilled. The Maharaja was overcome with elation. Elation, you know, happiness or else joy. So he was so happy, and so he came up with the comment. See, have a look. I have killed the 100th tiger, and the pledge. Woe means the pledge. The pledge that I have taken, it is fulfilled. He was so happy that he reversed his fate. Earlier itself, he had promised that he's going to reverse the fate of him, isn't it, by killing 100 tigers. And remember, he was really a brave man too. That is the reason why he managed to kill all the 100 tigers that he had come across, isn't it? Ordering the tiger to be brought to the capital in grand procession, the Maharaja hastened away in his car. So what happened? He gave his minions the order, come on, you're supposed to bring the dead beast to the town. That's in a grand procession, because it is the 100th tiger which was supposed to kill the Tiger King, isn't it? So in a grand procession, you are supposed to bring in the dead body. And after giving such an order, he hastened. Hastened means hurried in his car. So remember, he has reversed his fate, isn't it? 100th tiger is also over. So now let's see what is going to happen. Anyway, there's going to be a ceremony, isn't it? Why? Because he asked his minions to bring the dead tiger in a grand procession. So moving on to the next paragraph. So something wonderful is going to happen. Kindly pay attention. After the Maharaja left, the hunters went to take a closer look at the tiger. The tiger looked back at them, rolling its eyes in bafflement. Bafflement means surprise. So what happened? After the Maharaja left the place, when the hunters went near the tiger, because the Tiger King has ordered the hunters to take the body of the tiger in a grand procession, isn't it? So for that, as the hunters approached the tiger, you could see that the tiger looked back at them, that too rolling its eyes in bafflement, in a surprise. What really happened? In that manner, the tiger was having a look at the hunters. So at that time the men realized that the tiger was not dead. The bullet had missed it. It had fainted from the shock of the bullet whizzing past. Whizzing past means moving fast. So that was the thing that happened. The tiger fainted. Why? Because it got shocked after listening to the bullet shot. It was because of that the tiger fainted, and we all, including the Tiger King, mistook that the tiger passed away. But right now the hunters and we people also realize the fact that the Tiger King hasn't killed the 100th tiger. And here comes the literary device that I have taught you the other day. Do you remember? Yesterday, while concluding the chapter, I told tomorrow you're going to deal with a literary device, dramatic irony. Do you remember what dramatic irony is? Dramatic irony, yesterday I told, if you remember, dramatic irony is actually a situation in which the readers very well understand what is going on, because it is being mentioned to us from the author's side. So the readers and the author very well understand what the situation is, but the main character or else the protagonist of the story is not aware of the truth. That is what a dramatic irony is. So how can you connect the literary device dramatic irony in this situation? See, the hunters, those characters, they very well know that the tiger didn't pass away, and we readers, even we come to know that the tiger is the tiger hasn't we also realize the fact that the tiger is not dead. But who didn't know the truth? The Tiger King is not aware of the truth at all. So here it is in this place where the narrator or else the author Kalki has introduced the literary device dramatic irony. So remember, while writing a long answer question, especially regarding the literary device being applied over here, the first question in your textbook, that is the page number, I'll tell you the page number 17. The first question, the story is a satire on the conceit of those in power. How does the author employ the literary device of dramatic irony in the story? While answering that particular question, remember, the dramatic irony is being applied over here. And let me ask you one more question. You have to answer for that particular question while I go for an interactive session towards the end of this lesson. I'm sure such an instance, the instance being quoted over here where the Tiger King killed the tiger, and as he had left the place, the hunters as well as the readers realized the fact that the tiger is still alive. Such exactly a same instance you have learned in your 9th or 10th standard English class. So which lesson it is, you have to mention me when the interactive session is on. I hope right now itself you might have got the answer. Exactly the same thing you have learned over there, isn't it? In one particular chapter where the hunter actually killed the tiger. Hunter was sure that he or she had killed the tiger, but really it didn't happen. Such an instance you have already learned. So please give me an answer while the interactive session is on. Okay. So moving on to the next point. So here we are sure that the Tiger King hasn't killed the 100th tiger, isn't it? So what is the decision taken by the hunters? Let us see. The hunters wondered what they should do. They really don't know what they are supposed to do. How can they straight away go and inform the king that, oh, your majesty, you haven't killed the 100th tiger, you missed the bullet, like that. If the hunters go and inform the king, naturally you can understand what the reaction will be. The king, it's actually a disgrace for the king, so naturally he'll order to kill the hunters for bringing up such a disgraceful news, isn't it? So they can't straight away inform the king that you haven't killed the 100th tiger. So they were really confused on what to do. They decided that the Maharaja must not come to know that he had missed his target. You can understand the situation, isn't it? How the reactions of the kings at that time, how it will be. So the hunters also very well know that they are not supposed to. If they did so, what is going to happen? They could lose their job. Either they could lose their jobs, or else, as I told earlier, maybe much more severe punishments may come up. So what they did, let us see. One of the hunters took aim from a distance of 1 foot and shot the tiger. This time he killed it without missing his mark. So who killed that tiger? The tiger being brought by the Diwan Sahib. It was killed not by the Tiger King, but by one among the hunters. So that is the truth that is revealed in this part of the lesson. But what the Tiger King believes is that he has killed 100th tiger, thereby reversing his own fate. So it means that still one more tiger is pending, isn't it? So that tiger will surely be killing the Tiger King. That is what we hope, isn't it? So let us see when and where he is going to come across another tiger. So the hunters, after killing the tiger, as commanded by the king, the dead tiger was taken in procession through the town and buried. And remember how lucky that 100th tiger is. A tomb was erected over it, because it is the 100th tiger, a tiger of great importance, isn't it? And for that reason, a tomb was even erected. So with that, the Tiger King, what he believes is that he has killed 100 tigers, and earlier he had taken a decision that he'll look into all the other stately affairs only after killing the 100 tigers. So right now, he's going to give his complete attention to his family and to his kingdom. So that is what we are going to deal in the next paragraph. So a few days later, the Maharaja's son's 3rd birthday was celebrated. So it was the 3rd birthday of Maharaja's son, and he decided to celebrate. Why? Because he didn't spend much time with his family, or else he didn't deal with the stately affairs all these days. Why? Because he was so busy killing tigers. He had no time to spare for the crown prince, so he decided, let the 3rd birthday be celebrated. He wished to give him some special gift on his birthday. He went to the shopping center in Pradipanthapuram and searched every shop, but couldn't find anything suitable. So he thought he'll give him some precious or some wonderful gift on his birthday. And for that, he went to the shopping center over there and searched everywhere, but really sorry, he couldn't come across any gifts that he likes or he appreciates. Remember, whatever be the things chosen by the people, especially the royal ones like king, they prefer something royal, isn't it? They won't simply go for a flower, or else they won't go for any sorts of showpiece or something like that. What they want is something royal. So he searched a lot but couldn't locate any gift for his son. Finally, he spotted a wooden tiger in a toy shop and decided it was the perfect gift. So what was the gift that he planned to buy for his son? He located a wooden tiger that was there in a toy shop. That to remember, tiger, because he was so busy right from his childhood. Remember, when he was 10 days old. From that time onwards, the word that haunts him was tiger. Maybe because of that reason, and he's right now too proud that he has killed 100 tigers, and because of that reason, he could locate a wooden tiger as a gift, as a perfect gift for his son. So in that manner, he decided to gift him so. And in the next paragraph, you can see the bargain, or else the price being quoted for this wooden tiger. will a king buy a gift for his son which costs only 2 annas and a quarter? We can't ever think about such a situation, isn't it? What we feel is that the king will surely buy gift that has a huge amount, or else he'll buy only expensive gift for his sons, isn't it? That is what we all feel, or else we all think, isn't it? The same thing is there in the mind of the shopkeeper too. The shopkeeper who has actually kept that wooden tiger for sale, he was really afraid when the tiger king chose that wooden tiger as a gift. Why? Because the original price of the wooden tiger was 2 annas and a quarter. But the shopkeeper very well knew that if he quotes such a low price, then naturally he may be punished under rules of emergency. It is like that, isn't it? The royal people, they always prefer royal things. They won't ever go for anything cheap. And even he has actually chosen this particular gift, but the shopkeeper is supposed to hide the amount and keep. Why? Because if the king knows that he has chosen a very cheap item, that is going to be another disgrace for himself, isn't it? So the shopkeeper was in a dilemma on what to do. And finally he took a decision. He said, "Your Majesty, this is an extremely rare example of craftsmanship, a bargain at 300 rupees. And have a look at the amount that is quoted by the shopkeeper, because he was afraid of the king. If he tells the original price, then naturally, as he told, he may be punished. Under rules of emergency, he may be punished. To avoid that, what he did is, he just increased the amount, that to 300 rupees. That was the amount that he had quoted. And have a look at the tiger over here. You could see in the picture, the tiger is there. The tiger king has opted for that wooden tiger arranged in the shop. So what we feel is that this tiger king is going to buy that wooden tiger after paying 300 rupees, isn't it? But this is not that happened. Very good. Let this be your offering to the crown prince on his birthday, said the king, and took it away with him. So was he ready to pay? No, he was not ready to pay. So let it be a gift from the shopkeeper's side, that too to the crown prince. Like that he commented and took the tiger away. So remember, earlier itself it is being told, see, he really didn't want to he didn't spend much time with his family, so he has decided to spend his time with his family, as well as he has decided to concentrate on the stately affairs too, isn't it? So after giving this wooden toy as a gift to the child, what he did is, he started playing with the the wooden tiger. He started playing with his son, that too with that tiny wooden tiger. So you can see the tiger king over here, the shopkeeper over here, then the wooden toy also is being shown there. Moving on to the next page. So what happened while they were playing, while the king as well as the son was playing with the wooden toy? Let's see what happened. So what is the condition of the wooden toy is being mentioned here in the very next paragraph. It is told that it has been carved by an unskilled carpenter, the wooden tiger. The wooden tiger was made, or else was carved by an unskilled carpenter, and because of that particular reason, its surface was rough. Remember, it was of cheap quality, right? Because of that reason, what happens is that its surface was really rough, and tiny slivers of wood stood up. Slivers means tiny slivers of wood stood up like quills all over it. Slivers means pointed ones, pointed needle-like stuff, and quills, the word meaning of quill is pointed like that of a needle itself. So tiny slivers of wood, slivers means projections of wood, appear over on the surface of the wooden tiger, and it stood up like quills. Quills means like pointed needles. It appears on top of the wooden tiger. And what happened was that one of those slivers pierced the Maharaja's right hand. So one of that pointed stuff, what happened was that it pierced into Maharaja's right hand. And he tried to pull it out with his left hand and continued to play with the prince. So after doing that, after removing that sliver from his right hand, what he did was he continued, because it's a very small injury, right? He can manage. So he just neglected that injury and he continued playing with the little prince. So remember, he neglected that injury. After all, it was a minor injury, isn't it? That too a wooden sliver. So he thought nothing much is going to happen. So what happened the next day? Let's see. Infection flared in the Maharaja's right hand. So you could see that his right hand completely got flared. Here means spread. The infection spread in the Maharaja's right hand, and in 4 days it developed into a suppurating sore. Suppurating sore means, see, a wound from which pus is flowing out. It spread all over the arm. So you could see that the right hand completely got infected, and 3 famous surgeons came to attend the case. They were brought in from Madras. So 3 famous surgeons were there, and after holding a consultation, after having a discussion and after seeing the condition of the wound, what happened was that the 3 surgeons, they decided to operate the right hand of the Tiger King, and the operation took place too. So what happened after the operation is being mentioned there. The 3 surgeons who performed it came out of the theater and announced the operation was successful. The operation was successful in the sense that they could remove the pus. The Maharaja is dead. Then how can the operation be told as a successful one? God knows. Again, humorous elements being brought out by the narrator here, isn't it? The operation was successful, but what is the condition of the king? The king is no more. The Maharaja is dead. So think connected with the prophecy was that he has to be really careful with the 100 tiger, even if it's a live tiger or else a wooden tiger. See, in this manner the 100 tiger took its final revenge upon the Tiger King. So in that manner the final revenge was taken, or else the prediction was proved true by the 100 tiger. And remember, it's a wooden tiger, a man who bravely fought with 99 tigers. A man who courageously killed 99 tigers was killed by a mere wooden toy tiger. So that is what his fate is. You can't ever reverse the fate. So with that, the lesson is over. So see the way in which the final revenge was taken, or else this way in which the prediction was proved true. That's what we have learned in the 5th part, or else the final part of the lesson, isn't it? So in the beginning of the 5th part itself, we see the way in which the Tiger King was eagerly in search of the 100th tiger. Very difficult for him to come across the 100th tiger, and we have seen how a hillside village group, the people there in a hillside village group, how happy they were to inform the presence of a tiger in their village. And the Tiger King came over there too, and he couldn't, the gift that he had provided to the villagers were a 3-year exemption from all taxes for that particular village. Then he, along with his minions, went in search of the 100th tiger. Very difficult to come across the 100th tiger. He turned furious, and as a result he doubled the land tax all at once. And the Divan, who very well knew that it's going to be, something disastrous is going to happen if the Tiger King's fury goes on increasing like this, he thought he'll bring in a tiger that was kept hidden in his own home, that was brought from the People's Park in Madras. So he decided to bring that tiger. Then after that, you could see how the difficulty that the Divan faced while he brought in the tiger into the forest. And the very next day, when the Tiger King came across the tiger, how he shot the tiger. And later on, the fact is revealed that the tiger was not dead. The hunters, they were really afraid of the king, and so they kept it as a secret, and they killed the tiger. And a tomb was even erected for the 100th tiger too. And at that time, it is told the Tiger King was really happy, started concentrating in the kingly affairs or else the stately affairs, and even he decided to celebrate his son's birthday. And there he decided to give him a gift, the crown prince a gift. A wooden toy was the gift that he had arranged. And while playing with his son, with that tiny little wooden tiger, what happened was that the wooden toy was not that much appreciable one. It was not carved properly, and because of that reason, the tiny slivers of the wood, it actually pierced into Maharaja's right hand. And very next day, you could see that it turned, infection spread in his right hand, and 3 surgeons were called in, and they did a surgery too. The operation was really successful in the sense that they have removed this infection, but the Maharaja passed away. And the way in which the final revenge was taken by the nature is also being mentioned. See, he is a king, isn't it? He was not supposed to kill tigers like this, because each creature, they have got the liberty and freedom to survive there in earth. You can kill if you are facing such a dangerous situation. At that time alone you need to kill, isn't it? Even the king comes up with a statement, you can kill a cow even in self-defense. So in that case alone you need to kill animals, but the king is actually over-exploiting his power, or else he is a king over there. That is the reason why we have a statement as such. See, have a look at the statement. In the question answer section, you have that one. The story is a satire on the conceit of those in power. So this point you can even use for the introduction of this sentence. The story is a satire. The story, The Tiger King, written by Kalki, is a satire on the conceit of those in power. Even you can use that statement as an introduction for this lesson. What is this conceit? Conceit, the word meaning of conceit is actually excess pride of one particular person. Here the Tiger King, he's so proud that he know that he is really courageous enough to face all the dangers that he come across, isn't it? So he was so sure about that, and that is the reason why he thought, or else he started taking a decision. He took a decision of killing the tigers, isn't it? And he over-exploited his power. And see the way in which he has ordered his minions. He threw them away from their job, and even doubled the land tax of the villagers. All these things, as a king, he was not supposed to do. As a king, he was supposed to take care of the people there in the kingdom, but he has gone against all these things, isn't it? So remember to add these points, and while I explained the chapter, I mentioned what all are the different points that you have to add while answering the first question. So keep those points in your mind while answering, and don't worry, you will get an answer for this question, because it's a very important question as far as this lesson is concerned. Especially for a 6-mark questions. You have long answer questions, isn't it? So for the long answer questions, you can expect such questions. So remember to answer in the way in which I have explained while I dealt with each paragraph. And now, moving on to the character sketch, another important question that can come from based on this particular lesson, you need to know what it is. The character sketch of the Tiger King, you have to know what are the different points that you have to answer, or else you have to include while you mention the character sketch of the Tiger King. The first point that should be compulsorily mentioned is that the Tiger King, or else Sajulani Jung Bahadur, he is the king of Pratibandhapuram. So first you have to introduce who that man is, and after that only you'll be mentioning the character sketch one by one, isn't it? So the first point, just note it down, the first point that you have to mention is that he is really intelligent enough, isn't it? That is the reason why when he was 10 days old, he raised a very intelligent question. I hope you remember what was the intelligent question that he has raised. What was the question? He told, see, dear astrologers, it will make some sense if you could tell me the way in which my death will occur. So that point should be added while you mention the point that the Tiger King was really intelligent. So on the 10th day of on the 10th day, the Tiger King actually asked such an intelligent question to the astrologer. So that point very well explains how intelligent he is. Then the next point that you should include in the character trait is a determined person. He was very determined person. He made it sure that he'll kill 100 tigers and he'll reverse his fate. And the next point is that he's ruthless. He's ruthless. How can you tell that he's ruthless? He killed tigers, isn't it? He's not supposed to disturb the ecological balance. He's never thinking about those things. Just for taking care of himself, he's just ruthlessly killing 100 tigers as such. Then he's moody and furious. Moody in the sense he turned out to be sad when he couldn't locate the 100 tiger, and he turned out to be furious and doubled the land tax too. So that point can also be mentioned. Then the next point is tactful. How can you tell that the Tiger King is a tactful person? The criteria that he has taken for his own marriage. He doesn't want any princess who was a knowledgeable person. Instead, the condition that he laid was the princess, that particular kingdom in which the princess is there, should have large number of tigers. So there he turns out to be tactful. And how he tactfully manages the British officer who could actually take away his kingdom. Even these points should be mentioned for that question. Then one more point, last point, that is he's selfish. He's really selfish, isn't it? That is the reason why he didn't think about his own job. He was a king, isn't it? But he forgot that fact and just went on with his selfish motives. He didn't take care of any kingly affairs while he was killing all these 100 tigers. So these are the points that you have to answer while this character sketch is being asked. And the remaining questions I have already given you in your WhatsApp group. I hope it is clear for you. If you have any queries, please ask me either personally or else in the WhatsApp group that we have. And the questions also I have already given. I hope you will be answering all the 14 questions. The discussion of the 14 questions, we will have it later. So we'll wind it up for today. Thank you for your patient listening, children. Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon.